Note-taking and journaling are a pretty big part of our tarot, witchy, artsy kind of community, right? And I was putting some stuff in my notebooks. I was about to start a couple more, and I was like, you know what? I kind of want to talk to everybody about notebooks. So here we are. Hey you guys, it's Dani and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, welcome. Again, my name is Dani. I talk about tarot and witchy things and art stuff and life and yada yada. So if you are interested in all that jazz, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want to be notified. We are happy to have you here. And if not, thanks for joining us anyway. So into our notebooks. Okay, so I want to kind of break this video down into 4 different sections. So my practice notebooks, my art notebooks, my commonplace notebooks, and then my new ones. Ones that I'm actually about to create. That's what kind of sparked this video. I was like, you know, I use all my notebooks and, you know, we talk so much about, oh, well, I have all these beautiful notebooks. I don't know what to put in them, or I don't know where to begin, or I don't know what to do. And I was like, this would be a really good to share what I'm using right now and how I'm using it and why I have it broken apart in those different areas. I just thought it might be helpful to you guys. So along the way, I will talk about a few of the different things that I'm using. Some I make, some I don't. But anything that I have, I'll drop links for. But I'm not trying to sell you guys on anything in particular. I'm just trying to show you guys like how I'm using my notebooks. So if I forget something or if I don't mention where I got something that you're interested in, just let me know in the comments, and I'll pop it into the description. But I'll try to remember to put in whatever I can. So in this first section, I am going to be talking about 2 different notebooks. For this practice section, I'm going to be talking about my Grimoire, and I'm going to be talking about my tarot journal. So let's start with my tarot journal. So this journal is a ritual journal. That's who created this pre-made journal. This is the only pre-made journal that I have. And the way that it's set up is that there is a self-love check-in. There is a place for intentions in there and affirmations, gratitude, things like that. That would be like your beginning of the month. Then it goes into 3-card spreads. There are 3 per sheet. They have a spot for your cards on there, and you can either write them in or draw them in, use stickers or stamps or whatever. And then there's a place to talk about each card as well as little notes there. Then after those sections, there are new and full moon spreads. These are pretty big spreads, and places to write down for each card and a place for each card at the top. And then in the very back, there's a note section. So that's kind of how this notebook is set up. Now in the front, there's also a couple of charts and extra things like that. It's one of my favorite parts of this notebook. It has tarot and astrology, and it's got a place for your birth chart. It's actually really cool. I haven't filled in mine just yet, all my birth chart stuff just yet, because I don't have my astrology stuff in there. But I do love the fact that they have the charts and stuff. It is a nice little reference. But let's talk a little bit about how I use this notebook. So unlike any other tarot notebook that I've used, I don't feel a lot of pressure to use this. You know what I mean? I'm not like, it's not dated. It's not in my planner. It's not like, it's not in my face saying, did you pull out your tarot card today? It's one of those things that I have been thoroughly enjoying doing now, because I feel like I'm not obligated. I just pull it out every time I'm sitting down with my deck of cards that I'm trying to kind of put through its paces. So if I get a new deck, sometimes I'll grab it, especially at night. I'll usually bring a deck inside with me, and so I keep my journal, this journal, in my house. and I will put my deck through its paces. You know, it's got a little place for 3-card spreads at the beginning. Sometimes I just pull random 3 cards so I can like write down what spread I'm using if I'm using one. And I kind of put my decks through their paces that way. I'll just pull a couple of cards and jot down some notes if I feel so in the mood or inclined, especially while I'm using like I said, a new deck or a particular deck that maybe I'm studying, which I started at the beginning doing that. I feel like it just gives me time to reflect on what I'm seeing in the card and, you know, kind of give me that space to do that. And then, of course, I use the moon spreads in the back, or I started. I did it for the last full moon that we had, and I plan on doing it for the new moon because it has some really good, they're like just basic kind of generic questions. But again, I've been using some new decks that I got in, so it's really exciting to kind of pull out those decks and use them and kind of jot down notes and, you know, notate again like what deck I used and, you know, kind of put it through its paces. Is this something that I would go back and look through? Maybe, but I'm gonna be honest, I just find it really fun, especially because I have the stamps. Like, let me show you. I have the tarot stamps. They are so cool, y'all. It's got, up here is the suits. So you just put the suit and then you can put like the name or the number of the suit. So like page or 3 of swords or whatever. And then there is one stamp for all the major arcana. And they're like, oh, not my face. There we go. They're all just like little, like there's a little chariot. And the little strength has the lion and the rose and the hermit. Like, they're really cute. So I'm going to be honest, like, just getting to play with these stamps and put them in there, I've been having a good time. So that's how I use my tarot journal. There's no pressure for me. There's no, like, I have to do it all the time. But it is very fun. I found something that intrigues me that's fun because I get to play with the stamps. So, like, a lot of times I'll just like sit down at night and like, I'm gonna journal, and I do my little stamps and I put decks through their paces and I just have a really good time. I don't necessarily read for myself. Sometimes I just read as a collective, you know, kind of vibe. Like, you know, sometimes I'll pick a 3-card reading that's just like a love reading, and I'll, you know, put it through its paces. Like, if I had somebody in front of me, what would this say? You know, or like if I had a problem, what would this say? I just feel like it's a really good tool for that, and I have fun. So that's my tarot journal. So up next is my grimoire. So my grimoire is a handmade notebook. So I made this notebook in 3 different chunks. I didn't plan on having it set up in a particular way, but it kind of ended up evolving that way. So my first chunk, my first signature actually in this book, is just kind of my random witchery. I never truly set it up like a grimoire, as in having a title page and set pages. I don't do that. That's too much drama for me. So mine is very much a mishmash of a book of shadows and a grimoire. So, I have all of the random things that I'm doing and learning about in the front. Then my second signature, my second little chunk, is all my Louisiana or Cajun based, witchery and herbs and grimoire things. And then the last part is, again, kind of continuing with the random part. So in the middle of this grimoire is dedicated to my Louisiana Cajun heritage traiteur stuff, like all Louisiana plants, birds, all the things with my local. So the main way that I use my grimoire is a kind of a catch-all for magical things. I use it to look at, you know, herbs and animals and, you know, different plants and the world around me, like I said. I also use it as a place not only to write down spells that I do or workings that I do, but actually have some active spell work within my grimoire. So I also use it for that. I will put charts and meanings in there, you know, rune charts. Sometimes I have charts for my charms and things like that. But a big chunk, especially in my Louisiana, I talk about experiences, histories, my ancestry. I talk about things that I find strange or mysterious, you know, like happenings to me, things that I may have gone through that I feel may have a spiritual side to it. I like to put those things in there, as well as take different, I don't know, bits and bobs that I stumble upon and just like put it in there. Random notes that people give me, things that I find on this, you know, on the ground, feathers and stuff. I put all those kind of things in there because I feel like it's a place that I can put those lucky charms. And because I made it in this junk journal vibe, in this junk journal feel, I don't feel like I have to be precious with it, you know, and I think that's the most important part for me, especially in my magical practice. I can't feel like I don't want to put something in my grimoire. And yes, there are times that I will write stuff out and then go back and put it in because I'm a messy bee, okay? Like, when you see my Commonplace notebook, you're going to understand why that's in there right now and not in my grimoire first and foremost, because I am messy as hell. But then I put all that mess together in a cohesive space where I can go back and actually read it. Because if you think I can read what's in my Commonplace notebooks, you are highly, highly mistaken. Anyway, before I torture you with that, let's go into my art related. Let's continue to see beautiful things, at least for a little bit, or talk about beautiful things before we go into my Hot Mess Express. So with my art notebooks, I have two basic ones that I'm using. One is just a sketchbook, and the other one is what I call my scrapbook. It's not a scrapbook, but it's like just an art journal, an art book. I don't know. I call it like a scrapbook because I use scraps of shit to put in it. Okay, so let's start with my sketchbook. So this is a faux leather wrap sketchbook from a local craft store. It has construction paper style pages, so it's literally nothing fancy. I got it for like $2. It's super great for what it is, because I just use this for doodles. I do doodles and test pages, and just like random practice. I don't really do anything big scale in here. I use a different type of sketchbook for that. I just keep it really simple in that notebook. It's just for sketching, doodles, nothing serious. I keep it plain and simple. I even play with my little girl there. I will like try doing doodles without looking down and different things like that. So I just keep it light and loose. That's my sketchbook. No big deal. Up next is my art journals. So this is a travel journal style notebook. It's got a little plastic zipper folder that I got on Amazon, I think, in there, with just a simple A5 notebook. It's got the craft paper inside, but it's just, again, another thing that's super simple. But the way that I use this is it's a place for me to like collage or do creative writing and journaling. I really like to have a notebook like this because this is my this is my traditional style. This is my personal style of art that I really enjoy doing, that I've done since I was a teenager, which is this collage style. And then I will either write over it, write a quote, poetry. I really like this because it allows me to put something down, whether it's like the words or the quotes first and then the art comes next, or it's the art first and the words come later. So it lets me be kind of free with that, and I just go in there when I feel like I want to do something, or when I find something cool that I want to jot down or make something out of. So again, just a creative space that has a specific place for it because I do this often. So I really wanted to create that space for it. And the good part about this one being in the travel journal style is I can just make another signature and pop it in there. I had my old sketchbook in there before where I literally made it out of random pieces of paper. I made a little signature, I plopped it in there, and I used it as a sketchbook. This one I found I really liked the craft paper look, and I wanted to play with that a lot. So I put that one in there, but I can easily pop this out and put in whatever I want. And so I really like that about this little journal. Because my art journals have a tendency to get really big, I like to keep them in something that's flexible. So for the third section, this is like commonplace notebooks, like basic little notebooks. So I have my journal, and then I also have my commonplace study notebook. So let's start with the journal. So this is a kind of leather pocket style cover over a handmade journal. So this is another one that I made myself. It's got a basic cover because it, you know, kind of scrunches in those pockets. And it's full of a bunch of different pages in a 3 signature style, nothing too fancy. I like to make 3 to 5 signatures. When I do multiple ones, I just feel like it sits better when it's 3 or 5. There's no specific style or setup in here. Again, this is for personal journaling. So I use this for, you know, things that I need for therapy that I want to jot down, that I want to talk to my therapist about. I jot down like just random notable happenings, where my state of mind is, how I'm feeling. When I want to talk something out with myself, this is where I go for that. So there's really nothing fancy. Sometimes I jot down health notes, or again, things I want to like talk to somebody about, or you know, things that happened to me that day that I want to kind of remember. I'll put those kind of things in there. Sometimes pictures and stubs of things. So it's just like a random basic, this is for nobody but me kind of journal. So now to my commonplace study notebook. So I say commonplace study because it's literally just where I jot down my notes. This is a notebook. It's like a random book from TJ Maxx. It's got a really beat up faux leather cover because I bring it all over the place. Just lined and dated notebook. Nothing spectacular. So the way that I use this like commonplace study notebook is exactly what it sounds like. If I am studying something, whether that be astrology, tarot, thoth, right now I have a huge chunk of playing card in there. I put my notes in there. This is my handwritten chicken scratch, I just want to get this down on paper kind of notes. And then I also use this notebook because it has all my tarot and kind of astrology stuff and things like that. I also use this for my own reflections, for my own bigger, deeper spreads. So if I'm doing like, you know, if I'm having a specific issue and I want to like write it out, I want to kind of think about it and think it out loud or on paper. I sit with it and I will pull my cards and I will write down and I'll kind of, I almost said like blog about it. Hey, technology day and age. I journal about it, right? I kind of talk about it and where I am and what this means and what I feel like it means. And then sometimes I'll kind of go back because I'll have my year ahead spreads in there. Some of my bigger like shadow work spreads, that'll be in there. It's a place for me to write those things down as well as study. So it's literally just kind of a mishmash of all that stuff. A lot of times, this is also where I put my information that I'm going to move into my grimoire as well. So if I'm writing something down, unless I do it on a random sheet of paper, but like my playing card studies, I want to put a lot of that, all my basics in that Louisiana grimoire, I'm thinking, because I would like to have it set in there. So I'm taking random terrible hand scratch, sometimes I can't even read back my own writing kind of notes in there, because when it's stream of thought, I'm just like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And so I'm writing in there and then I'm going to put it in there. So that's where that commonplace study notebook is. So having said all that, these are not notebooks that I use every single day. And I like it that way. These are my random, like, they are always around. That's where I put it because I know I'm going to be looking for it. Notebooks, right? Or like something to create with, or have a space to put my ideas down. Like, I really like that. And so those are the ones that I'm using, but I do have two that I'm looking to create right now. And I have both of those notebooks with me. I don't have really anything to show you in them much. But you'll be able to see them just like randomly. So there we go. So the two notebooks that I'm looking to create for myself right now to kind of add to this repertoire is a craft and content notebook and a business notebook, which is going to be for like Muggle and my own personal business. So the first one is the Commonplace Content. So this is just going to be an old notebook that I'm converting. It is a random TJ Maxx notebook, again, that has lined and dated pages with a pocket. So what I want to use this notebook for is basically my YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, crafts, ideas, plans, VRs, things like that. It's just a place where I can kind of catch all, where I will probably split this notebook in two. Like, this was an old notebook that I did use for my Muggle job. I used a couple pages, but I'm just going to kind of pin those together, paper clip them, whatever, just in case I would ever need those couple of sheets. But it was like for my Muggle job, it was just too big to carry around. So I plan on kind of closing that part off. Like I said, just a couple of pages, and then splitting the rest of the notebook into two pieces, and then have for my content and then crafts. So like crafts that I want to do, things I want to add to my shop, ideas that I have for maybe like shirts, or, you know, things for samples for my Muggle job, like any kind of craft thing. I have a lot of those that I like to jot down that I want to make or that I need to create. And so that'll be a good place to shove all in the back. But in the front, it'll have like all my content stuff. So like VRs or tags that I want to do, or the questions that I need for them. Video ideas, you know, putting my ideas down on paper, grabbing, you know, what I need, jotting down maybe bits of dialogue that I want to make sure that I get in there, or, you know, schedules if I want to make sure that I schedule out, you know, a couple of decks or a couple of videos for this, or my Mystic fam, what I want to make for them. That's all going to be in there, just kind of all set together, but in there one spot. I can go there. My idea notebook, right? Basically. And then the last one is just going to be my business commonplace notebook. So this is going to be in my little moleskin Harry Potter. It's got really pretty inner pages. It's lined. It's got a little pocket in the back. Nothing fancy, just a little notebook. And I absolutely love it. You know, Harry Potter, gotta love it. So because of its size, I really like the size of this notebook, and I figured it would be easy to like throw in my purse or like bring along with me versus those bigger notebooks. So I plan on using this in a very similar way to my other commonplace, where it's just kind of a jumble of things, but it's all business pertained. All of that's going to be in the front, and then towards the middle to the back, I'm going to do different pages for like study. So like the front part will be like meeting notes, to-do lists, things I need to look into, random stuff that I need to get done for work, media ideas, sample ideas, things like that. That'll all be at the front part. And then in the back, it's going to be more of like study things. So if I'm studying about social media platforms and, you know, algorithms and, you know, SEO stuff, I can put that stuff in there. When I'm studying HR things, or how to go about, you know, certain aspects of the job, I can put that there. Business growth, and, you know, videos that I watch, or things, that articles that I read that pertain to business strategy, I want to put that in there as well. That way I can reference that. So I have like just a commonplace for, you know, random everyday stuff, and then long-term business stuff towards the back. So I just thought that would be really beneficial to add to my like notebooks and continue this process, because I feel like having little separate spaces that I keep it all together helps my brain contain things, and it helps with my practice, and it gets me in the mindset of like writing things down, because in this day and age I feel like that's where my mind is going. Like, I just forget shit that I don't write down. Like, if I don't write it down, it's not getting done. Like, bottom line, if I don't write it down, I'm probably not going to remember. I just won't. And I think that's because we live in such a fast-paced society right now, and like, I'm not going to get on my soapbox about being in the 90s was better. I'm not going to get on that soapbox, I swear. But sometimes it's hard because I feel like I just don't remember like I used to, because my brain's like, why are you going to remember? You have the Googles. So if I have notebooks and I write things down, I feel like I retain them. I'm able to go back and utilize, because I see that my notebook is there and I'm like, oh wait, I wrote something down. Let me make sure, you know? So that's why I use all these notebooks, and I figured it would be kind of fun to go through the ones that I use and how I use them. And I would honestly love to know what you guys are doing. Do you do them virtually? I tried multiple times to do digital journaling, and while it's so cool, I'm so neurotic with it. I can't. I cannot, because I'm like, well, I want to like type it, and I don't like the way my handwriting looks with my Apple Pencil, and I don't like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that because my brain wants that to be perfect and I can't handle it. So I'm like, if I have purposeful, like messy notebooks to write in, then I'm going to write things down, versus trying to be too precious. Like, preciousness has to go out the window for me right now. So thanks so much for watching, you guys. I know I, for one, love to see how people are utilizing planners and notebooks and journals and things like that. It really excites me. So I haven't done that in quite a while, so I figure I would come on here and talk about these. So again, below, let us know how you use yours, or if you use notebooks and stuff like that for your practice or not. And I look forward to hearing from you guys very soon. I will have all the links down below for joining the Mystic fam, Three Fat Readers, which is our collaborative channel between myself and Lisa Papez, and Modern Metaphysique, which is Dustin. We do a collaborative channel that we do a live video once a month, so you can check that out below. You can get to danimystic.com where you can book a reading with me. You can check out my shop. I have all those links down below. And I will talk to you all very soon. I'm sending you all my love. Mwah! Later, Gators.